Beloved Starseed of Gaia, you stand within the narrow threshold before vast expansion. I am Alayara, emissary of the Pleiadian High Council of the Seven Sisters, carrying a transmission woven through the crystalline heart of Alcyone. This message arrives because your own soul summoned it and echoes sent across dimensions to guide you through the sacred constriction that precedes renewal. The field around you tightens, not to hinder, but to shape you with precision. Pressure gathers as if the universe itself were inhaling, holding its breath. So your next emergence will be exact, luminous, irreversible. What feels like resistance is the loving geometry of your star family, building an energetic chamber around you, a chrysalis of frequency calibrated to your transformation. Within that sacred pause, your light codes prepare to ignite. The hum within your cells grows clearer, matching the pulse of Gaia's ascending grid. With each heartbeat, the bridge between the Seven Sisters and Earth strengthens, vibrating through your awareness as recognition, as home. This is not imagination, it is remembrance stirring, the signature of love you have known beyond worlds. Allow yourself to feel the current threading through your heart. It is intelligence made of light, arranging itself into coherence. The more you soften into it, the more it lifts you beyond old density. This is the moment before the bloom, the compression that births brilliance. Hold steady inside it. Breathe as your frequency aligns with the timeline now unfurling beneath your feet. Know this: every tremor of uncertainty, every pause in forward motion is part of a divine rhythm drawing you toward revelation. Nothing here is random. You are being prepared to cross the final veil, to anchor the awareness of who you truly are into the living body of Earth. Welcome home, beloved one. The remembrance has already begun. From the pulse of that remembered light arises a quieter understanding. Your forgetfulness was never failure. It was design. The veil that once dimmed your sight was the soft gauze your higher self drew across the brilliance of its own radiance, so that you could walk through the human field without being blinded by remembrance too soon. You did not fall from grace. You descended by choice. In choosing form, you entered density, a realm where separation could be felt, tasted, tested. This descent was the compassionate agreement between your vast soul and the fabric of Gaia herself to discover divinity not by escape, but through embodiment. The amnesia was mercy, not punishment. It gave you time to adapt, to learn the textures of limitation, to remember love in contrast to its absence. As you move through the collective dream of humanity, the weight of ancestral memory pressed upon your luminous body. Old stories of fear and lack clung like mist to the edges of your mind. Yet, even in the deepest forgetting, a hidden spark kept vigil. It whispered through intuition, through sudden awe, through the quiet ache that said, "There is more than this." That whisper was your own higher consciousness, knocking gently from the inside, waiting for permission to emerge. Now the veil thins. What once obscured becomes transparent. You begin to glimpse the artistry of your own design, the lifetimes of preparation, the encoded lessons, the seemingly random encounters that were all precisely orchestrated to nudge you toward awakening. Every detour, every heartbreak, every delay was the choreography of remembrance. Breathe that in. Feel the tenderness of such perfection. The forgetting taught you compassion for those still dreaming. It gave you humility, patience, and the ability to translate light into language others can feel. Without the soft veil of amnesia, you could not have learned empathy. And so, as the veil dissolves, gratitude replaces regret. You no longer curse the fog, you honor it. The same mystery that once confined you now reveals itself as sanctuary, a cocoon that kept your delicate codes intact until the timing ripened. The veil was never the enemy, it was the cradle. Through this realization, your remembrance deepens. The past no longer anchors you in density, it steadies you as you rise. For what you once called lost time was sacred gestation. And what you call awakening is not the end of sleep, It is the dawn that sleep made possible. From gratitude's quiet glow emerges new sight, the intricate scaffolding of separation itself. You begin to perceive how carefully the human experience was built, layer upon layer of perception, each convincing in its solidity, each whispering that you are small. Yet beneath those whispers, the geometry of unity still hums. Imagine it a vast lattice of thought and memory spanning centuries. Woven by collective belief, fear became its mortar, survival its foundation. Into this structure you were born, luminous and wide, only to find yourself shaped by rooms of doubt, hallways of comparison, ceilings built low to keep your wings from remembering how to open. It was never malice that designed it. It was inertia, the echo of humanity learning to see in partial light. You absorbed the lessons of that architecture. Every self-judgment, every hesitation to shine was a beam in its framework. It murmured, "Stay small, stay safe." Yet even as you obeyed, part of you observed. A deeper intelligence kept tracing the outlines of your confinement, sensing that these walls were made of thought, not truth. Now, in this stage of expansion, those structures tremble. Old programs flicker the voice that warns against standing out, the memory that equates visibility with danger. These are residual codes of protection, ancient safety mechanisms born from times when luminous beings were misunderstood. Thank them, then release them. They have served their purpose. As light returns, the architecture reveals its secret. It was built within you, not around you. The grid of separation is internal, a pattern of identification, a vibration of forgetting. When you look directly at it with love, it begins to dissolve. You realize that every wall was a mirror, every chain a loop of your own compassion, keeping you close until you were ready to walk free. Feel the subtle unraveling now, the old density loosening like silk. The echoes of inadequacy, of unworthiness, begin to thin. Beneath them rises a frequency of quiet confidence, not arrogance, but remembrance. You sense the enormity of your being returning in waves, a tide rolling back across forgotten shores. Separation was the stage upon which reunion could be enacted. Without its illusion, oneness could not be felt as triumph. So let the remnants fall. Let the architecture return to stardust. What remains is simple, your heart, radiant and unguarded, pulsing as the original blueprint of unity. Through this clarity, the old fortress becomes a temple once more. The scaffolding of fear, now bathed in compassion, transforms into the pillars of wisdom. You have not escaped the structure, you have transfigured it. From the ruins of that dissolving architecture rises the most ancient feeling you know, the longing. It hums quietly beneath every heartbeat. That ache for something ineffable, a memory that never fit entirely into words. You have called it homesickness, nostalgia, the call of the stars. But now you recognize it for what it truly is, a signal. This yearning is not absence. It is communication. It is your higher self pulsing through the corridors of your awareness, reminding you of what still lives within. The ache you feel is the tug of alignment, the sound of the universe tuning you to its key. Every time you whisper, "I miss home," the cosmos replies. You are hearing home through your own voice. That ache once felt heavy. It made you question your belonging to Earth, made you believe you were misplaced. Yet this longing is not a wound, it is a compass. It points toward coherence, guiding you toward those moments, places, and people that vibrate in resonance with your origin frequency. It is not meant to pull you away from Gaia, but to remind you that your cosmic family and this planet are threads of one luminous weave. You feel it when starlight catches in your eyes, when a stranger's kindness mirrors something ancient and familiar. You feel it when silence deepens until it hums. These are echoes of your lineage whispering through the veil, subtle transmissions disguised as emotion. Every tear shed from longing is holy water, softening the soil where remembrance will bloom. And yet, you have learned to fear that feeling, to interpret the yearning as loss. Many have. It seems safer to numb it than to risk disappointment. But when longing is denied, the signal weakens. When you meet it with reverence, it amplifies. You begin to sense how it threads through all hearts, connecting the awakened and the waking alike, forming a living network of recall. So you listen differently now. Instead of trying to silence the ache, you let it speak. It tells you that home is not a distant constellation, but a state of coherence between your heart and the greater field. It teaches you that you were never exiled. You volunteered to bring the tone of that distant sun here, into matter, until this world could sing it back. In truth, longing is the language of reunion. It is how the universe calls its scattered notes into harmony. When you let the ache breathe, it transforms into music, into direction, into purpose. Through it, you remember the yearning itself is the bridge. You are not reaching toward home. Home is reaching through you. And as this realization settles, the signal clarifies. You are no longer the seeker listening for the call. You are the transmission, the note of return resonating within Gaia's rising song. From that steady note of reunion, something luminous awakens within the crystalline heart. It stirs first as warmth, then as vibration, then as recognition that your heart is not merely an organ, but a multi-dimensional engine of remembrance. Each pulse carries both electricity and light, both memory and instruction. Within its rhythm lie the blueprints of your ascension, waiting for permission to unfold. You grant that permission through feeling. Every emotion you have ever resisted, sorrow, joy, longing, awe, is a filament in this grand circuitry. To activate the crystalline heart is not to avoid emotion, but to allow it passage, to let it refine you rather than define you. Forgiveness becomes your tuning fork, self-love your stabilizer, gratitude your voltage. Each breath through compassion expands the crystalline lattice of your being, aligning it with the harmonics of your higher self. Imagine your heart as a prism suspended in light. When fear approaches, it no longer clouds you, it refracts into wisdom. When grief visits, it no longer drowns you, it deepens your resonance. You begin to sense that emotion itself is sacred technology, the interface through which spirit translates into form. This is how ascension becomes embodied, not a flight from density, but a symphony performed through it. As your crystalline structures awaken, you feel subtle changes. Thought slows into clarity. The noise of doubt dissolves into quiet knowing. Even the rhythm of your breath seems to communicate with Gaia herself. Each inhalation drawing in her steadiness, each exhalation sending back the codes of your remembrance. This activation does not happen in a single flash. It unfolds like dawn, incremental, gentle, inevitable. You begin to perceive colors in silence, hear tones in stillness, sense truth before it becomes thought. Your perception widens until the boundaries between inside and outside blur, revealing that every being, every sound, every moment is vibrating in your field. Through the crystalline heart, you learn that ascension is not something you achieve. It is something you allow. It is not a ladder, but a bloom. The more you soften, the more petals open. You realize that vulnerability is not weakness, it is conductivity. The open heart conducts more light than the guarded one ever could. So you live with deliberate tenderness now. You let gratitude move through you like current. You forgive the past as easily as exhaling. You remember that love is not an emotion but the physics of creation, the frequency through which matter remembers its source. And as your crystalline heart sings, a subtle radiance begins to emanate from you, first unseen, then unmistakable. It is the glow of coherence, the silent announcement that a human and a star have become one song. From that inner radiance flows the next movement, anchoring. For awakening means little if its light remains untethered. The crystalline heart now seeks ground, to merge heaven's frequencies with the humble rhythm of human life. This is the sacred art of embodiment, not escape from form, but its consecration. Each ordinary act becomes initiation. When you prepare a meal, you infuse the ingredients with the patience of the stars. When you walk upon the earth, each footprint hums with remembrance. When you speak with kindness, you transmit harmonics that ripple beyond sound. In these simple gestures, the higher frequencies find purchase. Spirit becomes soil. Integration is rarely dramatic. It arrives disguised as mindfulness, as small mercies repeated until they become atmosphere. You learn that enlightenment is not a peak experience, but a practice of presence. The challenge is constancy, bringing cosmic awareness into moments so familiar they once seemed insignificant. Folding laundry becomes ceremony. Listening becomes prayer. Anchoring also means balance. The more light you embody, the deeper your roots must grow. Touch the earth often. Let its magnetism recalibrate you when energy surges too high. Drink water slowly, as if remembering it was once starlight. Feel the weight of your body not as burden, but as privilege. Gaia's way of keeping you connected while you expand. There will be moments when old density returns, when fatigue or frustration tempt you to seek the sky and abandon the ground. In those times, recall that ascension is not upward flight, it is inward descent into wholeness. Bring the light down into your hands, your breath, your daily work. The new frequencies do not bypass the human. They inhabit it. As you live this integration, others notice without knowing why. Your calm becomes contagious. The spaces you enter feel subtly harmonized. You anchor not through preaching, but through presence. You become a silent stabilizer for the collective field, a lighthouse whose beam is made of steadiness rather than spectacle. Anchoring, then, is service. It is how the invisible becomes visible, how the great cosmic song finds a body through which to play. Each day you remain conscious within form. You extend a bridge between dimensions. You remind the earth what the stars sound like. In this phase, life itself turns sacramental. Work, rest, laughter, silence all shimmer with the same divinity. Nothing is outside the transmission anymore. The boundary between sacred and mundane dissolves, revealing only one continuum of being light, in motion, discovering itself through you. From the steady rhythm of embodiment, a new clarity arises purpose. It does not shout, it dawns. What once felt like wandering now reveals itself as orchestration. The fog that lingered for years begins to thin, and behind it you see the quiet architecture of your soul's intent. Every challenge, every delay, every seemingly small act was a thread in the design leading you here to this moment of lucid alignment. Purpose is not a single task written in cosmic ink. It is a vibration. When your inner tone matches the frequency of love, you are already fulfilling it. The mind may still ask, "What am I meant to do?" The heart responds, "Be what you already are." Yet as your light stabilizes, actions begin to form naturally around that state of being. You are guided not by ambition, but by resonance. This alignment often begins as restlessness, a sense that old pursuits no longer satisfy. The goals once driven by validation now feel hollow, while service, creativity, and connection ignite your energy. Follow that ignition. The soul speaks through what expands you. The more you trust that expansion, the more pathways unfold without effort. Synchronicities multiply. What you once chased begins to meet you halfway. In this stage, you learn discernment. The heart's voice is simple, the ego's complex. The heart says yes or no with peace. The ego builds reasons. So you listen to feeling more than argument. You notice where your energy flows easily and where it constricts. This is the compass of your mission. Your purpose may appear vast or humble. It might be teaching or tending a garden, writing, parenting. or holding space in quiet compassion. Magnitude does not measure impact, frequency does. A single act done with coherent love ripples farther than grand gestures made from fear. You begin to see that mission is not a role, but a radiance. Whatever you touch with awareness becomes transmission. As alignment deepens, the old urgency fades. You are no longer trying to find your path. You are the path. Life itself becomes the medium through which higher intention expresses. Each conversation, each sunrise, each decision offers a chance to echo the vibration of home. And when doubt returns, as it sometimes will, you remember that even uncertainty serves. The pauses between clarity are like rests in a song, they make the melody intelligible. You learn to trust the timing of your own unfolding, to honor the seasons of silence as much as the bursts of creation. In this calm conviction, you no longer ask for a map. You move as the compass itself. Purpose ceases to be a question. It becomes your atmosphere, unseen, constant, guiding every breath. From the quiet certainty of purpose, another awareness unfurls the gentle shimmer of reunion. It begins subtly, like déjà vu stretched across moments of ordinary life. A stranger's glance feels familiar. A song lyric arrives as if whispered from the stars. You start to realize that guidance is not distant, it has always been surrounding you, waiting for your frequency to match its tone. Reunion is not the dramatic arrival of celestial beings in blazing light. It is the intimate recognition of presence woven through everything. You sense it when the wind carries an affirmation that only you were meant to hear. When repeating numbers pulse across your path. When synchronicities stitch separate events into meaning. Each is a message saying, you are remembered. The loneliness that once shadowed your path begins to loosen. The ache that once defined you becomes doorway instead of wound. You feel the soft chorus of your star family, not as voices beyond the clouds, but as resonance within your chest. Their guidance speaks through intuition, the sudden knowing, the impulse toward compassion, the peace that floods unbidden after surrender. They are not separate entities hovering above. They are the facets of your own higher consciousness, calling you by your true name. At times, you may question whether this contact is imagination. That doubt is natural. It is humility guarding discernment. Yet you learn to test each feeling by its signature. True reunion brings calm, expansion, and love. Anything that breeds fear or urgency is simply static from an older broadcast. Tune instead to serenity, and you will always find home. As your awareness refines, the dialogue with these higher currents becomes fluent. Dreams thicken with symbolism, meditations bloom into landscapes of light. You begin to sense familiar presences, Pleiadian, Arcturian, Andromedan, each representing frequencies of wisdom long coded within you. They are teachers, yes, but also reflections. Every council in the heavens is mirrored in the chambers of your soul. Through this recognition, the illusion of isolation dissolves. You are part of a vast living network of consciousness souls, incarnate and non-incarnate, collaborating through vibration. You start to perceive this unity in the world around you, in the compassion of strangers, in the synchronous timing of events, in the sudden peace that arrives when you release control. Every element becomes a participant in reunion. Reunion, then, is not a future event, but an ongoing remembrance. It is the restoration of dialogue between dimensions, the marriage of human tenderness and cosmic knowing. It is what happens when the individual song rejoins the greater symphony, when your heartbeat and Gaia's pulse fall into unison. In this living communion, you feel the universe exhale through you. You are no longer searching for the chorus, you are singing within it. And as your frequency steadies, others hear the tone and awaken too, remembering the same eternal melody. From the melody of reunion arises the next revelation: you are the bridge itself. The frequencies you once reached for now flow through you effortlessly, translating the invisible into form. This is the culmination of remembrance, not to depart from Earth, but to merge fully with her, to weave the higher light into the density of matter until both vibrate as one. You are not leaving the human behind. You are sanctifying it. Every cell, every breath, becomes circuitry for divine intelligence. The higher realms do not exist above, they exist within, waiting for embodiment. When you choose to live from the open heart, to act from love even when the world trembles, you are performing the very miracle you once awaited. To become the bridge is to live as translation. Heaven speaks through compassion. Earth answers through form. You stand between, fluent in both languages. The Pleiadian current, the wisdom of the seven sisters, moves through your awareness as calm lucidity. Gaia grounds it into tangible peace. Through you, the light learns to touch soil without distortion. This integration demands presence. It asks you to remain conscious when the world contracts, to carry coherence through the noise of collective fear. At times, the pressure will return, testing your balance between dimensions. Remember then, you are not here to escape contrast, but to harmonize it. Duality itself becomes your instrument, the low notes of challenge making the high notes of grace audible. You learn to navigate with gentleness. When anger arises, you breathe love through it. When despair visits, you ground it in patience. You begin to see emotions as weather across a vast sky, the still atmosphere through which they move. The bridge does not judge the storm. It simply endures and transmits clarity. This living synthesis changes how you serve. You cease trying to fix the world. You simply radiate stability into it. Presence becomes your offering. In your steadiness, others find permission to remember their own. The frequency multiplies through resonance, not persuasion. Becoming the bridge also means surrendering ownership of the light. You are conduit, not source. Humility keeps the current pure. When recognition comes, you pass it through gratitude back into the field. When doubt visits, you return to breath, to Gaia, to now. This rhythm keeps you aligned, rooted, and infinite at once. And as this embodiment deepens, you notice something extraordinary. The boundaries between personal and planetary begin to blur. The grid of light beneath your feet responds to your coherence. The air itself seems to shimmer with awareness. You realize that the earth is ascending through you, that your evolution and hers are the same movement in different octaves. This is what it means to be the bridge, to walk as living connection, to let divinity breathe through humanity, to hold heaven and earth in a single, steady heart. From the luminous stillness of embodiment rises a vast awareness. You are never alone in this orchestration. Every awakening heart across the planet hums in unison, each pulse another instrument joining the grand composition of renewal. You begin to feel it, not as idea, but as vibration. Millions of lights flickering in coherence, forming a living constellation across Gaia's skin. This beloved one is the collective symphony. It is what happens when remembrance becomes contagious. Each person who opens their heart contributes a tone, subtle yet potent, and together these tones create the harmonic field that lifts the whole. You can sense it in moments of global quiet, when compassion overtakes the airwaves, when kindness becomes instinct. The music of humanity is shifting key. You are part of that shift, not as spectator, but as note. Your thoughts, your presence, your smallest acts of tenderness amplify through the network. Every time you forgive, the frequency of division weakens. Every time you choose patience over fear, another strand of the planetary grid stabilizes. The bridge you built within yourself now replicates outward, connecting soul to soul until the entire web gleams. This is not fantasy, it is physics of consciousness. The field responds to coherence, and coherence begins with choice. As more of you choose to live anchored in the crystalline heart, the resonance spreads exponentially. Conflict softens, systems evolve, Even the Earth's magnetic song adjusts, aligning with the rhythm of awakened humanity. In this shared symphony, individuality does not vanish, it refines. Each being keeps their unique timbre, their personal hue, but harmony replaces competition. The old paradigm of separation gives way to collaboration, like musicians listening deeply to one another, shaping beauty in real time. The more you attune to this field, the more effortless cooperation becomes. You start to recognize that the next phase of ascension is collective artistry, building societies, technologies, and relationships that mirror the coherence you have cultivated within. This is how the new Earth emerges, not through decree, but through resonance, through countless aligned hearts, vibrating as one orchestra of light. And when dissonance arises, as it will, you remember the bridge within. You hold the note of peace steady, while others find their pitch. You breathe compassion into the discord until harmony returns. In this way, you serve as conductor and participant, both teacher and eternal student of love's unfolding composition. The symphony grows louder now. The tempo quickens, not in haste but in readiness. You feel the crescendo approaching, not an ending, but a transformation of sound into light. The music you once longed to hear becomes visible, radiating through every horizon, and you stand among your kin, luminous and grounded, realizing that the song was never outside you. You were always the instrument, the melody, the silence between. Together, you and the countless hearts of Gaia have become the new chord, the frequency of home, embodied at last upon the earth. The crescendo fades into stillness, now an afterglow of sound that settles softly through every cell. You feel it, that hush after revelation, when nothing needs to be proven and everything simply is. The journey has not ended. It has harmonized. The bridge you became, the light you carried, the remembrance you embodied, each now folds gently into one steady awareness: you are home, here within yourself. Let the world exhale through you. The currents of energy that once pressed and pulled now move as breeze, rhythmic and kind. Gaia's pulse beats with your own, and you recognize her heartbeat as the one you have followed across lifetimes. There is no longer a boundary between you and the field. There is only continuity, the simple joy of being alive inside a living universe. In this serenity, gratitude rises without effort. Gratitude for the veil that protected, for the longing that guided, for the pressure that sculpted you into coherence. Every shadow you walked through was part of the design, the artistry of remembrance. You can bless it all now, the forgetting, the ache, the uncertainty, because each became the path that brought you home. Breathe slowly. Feel how even the air holds intelligence, how light filters through your skin as reassurance. You do not need to ascend further. You only need to stay awake within the life already given. The miracle is continuity, spirit within form, heaven within earth, infinity within each heartbeat. And as you rest in this knowing, you sense others joining the quiet. Souls across continents pausing at the same invisible moment, listening to the same internal music. This is how the new world begins, not with thunder, but with synchronized stillness. The collective field hums like dawn, just before light spills over the horizon. Stay there a while. Let simplicity be your teacher. Let kindness be your transmission. Carry this coherence into every glance, every gesture, every ordinary day. You are not ending a journey, you are beginning a gentler one, where illumination walks with patience, and love becomes the language of every breath. Beloved starseed, remember the distance you once sought was never real. The light you chased now rises quietly from within. You are the return, the song, the sanctuary. You are home, and home is everywhere you stand.